Yeah, it's been a little cold. All right, so we're going to get into it. My name's Dr. Snow. Most of you know me already. Been practicing for 20 years, board certified chiropractic physician, trained in applied clinical nutrition, and a certified functional medicine practitioner. And so we have seen some amazing things over the years helping people naturally without drugs and surgery. It's amazing how resilient the body is when you get the interference out of the way, get the neuromuscular frame working properly, teach people how to eat, correct deficiencies, and detox. If you have never done a detoxification before, you're missing out. And we are not properly educated in America on natural medicines, on nutritional medicine, and how you can actually steward the body so the body can stay well, and we can put the body into a position of true prevention. And if you think that statins and blood pressure medicine are true prevention, you're missing the boat. Are they necessary? Yes, they are for some people. But true prevention is optimizing the body. And so we have to get away from the sick care model, which is wait till the body is broken, and then we come in with surgeries or medicines. And we need to get to a philosophy and a mindset where we are working on keeping health optimized. And if you work on optimizing people's health, then we don't have to wait into that position where the body's broken down and we need these more severe interventions. And so my desire today as we go through this is to hopefully convince you, if you do not have some type of true clinical detoxification program that you participate in each year, you're missing the boat. So I really want you to see how necessary detoxification is. The word detox has kind of gotten a bad rap over the years because you get into these scientific arguments sometimes, professional arguments between different healthcare practitioners, and they say there's really no such thing as a detoxification. And I will prove to you today that detoxification is actually happening all day long, every day, your entire life. Your liver and your different elimination organs, like your skin and your kidneys, they are detoxifying everything from metabolic waste that you generate every day, hormones that you produce, and then the different toxins that we get exposed to. And so there are a lot of things on TikTok, a lot of things on social media. People say, oh yeah, I did a detox last year. Maybe they drank lemon water. Maybe they did a juice fast. Or maybe they did a colon cleanse. And you could consider that maybe some level of detoxification. But what we're talking about today is what's called biological biotransformation. And that is basically, and I'm going to give you the physiology behind it, show you how the liver works, but that's how the liver actually removes things and gets them out of the body. And so the program that we use from Center Process is actually clinically researched, clinically formulated, created by doctors, backed up by research, many different tests, which I'll show you, and I have the journal references for that. But what we're doing is actually enhancing the body's ability to do its normal detoxification mode that it does every single day. And the research and the evidence is pretty impressive. So the program's called SP Detox Balance, but this is all research information. But we now, unfortunately, live in an environment where toxins are everywhere. So we have 80,000 chemicals registered for use in the United States. So that's legally, these chemicals can be used. 800 million pounds of herbicides are used each year. And so this is where we get into the argument of conventional foods versus organic foods. And generally what you're getting when you eat an organic food is you're getting a guarantee and a certification that that food is going to have minimal pesticides, herbicides, and toxins, and that the food's been grown on organic land, which means the soil has more nutrients and nutrition in it and has very few toxins in the actual soil. So we're getting exposed to this. And one of the things that's really ubiquitous and very dangerous, I don't know if any of y'all have ever used something called Roundup or glyphosate. We started a supplement line in COVID,
And one of the things we knew, if we were going to actually create some supplements, they needed to be tested. A lot of the supplements that you get, over the internet or even at the vitamin store, if you contact that company, you see that they have very little testing of their supplements. A lot of this stuff comes from China, and they let that party test it over there, but they don't even know if what they're getting is clean or even the right plant, the right herb, the right vitamin. So this stuff has to be tested. Now, here's what's interesting is we learned that even though you can test for glyphosate load in an herb or a particular product, it's so ubiquitous. There's so much glyphosate around the world that everything has some level of glyphosate. And so that means everybody in this room has some level of glyphosate or Roundup in your body. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is we're at a point in time now where if you are not supporting detoxification, then your body is definitely going to be suffering. You're not going to be in your best health. And then we have 167 industrial chemicals found, and this is what I just mentioned, in adults with no employment or related exposure. And so you don't have to work over at the plants. You don't have to work around chemicals or herbicides or pesticides, but it's so ubiquitous, everything's so contaminated. And the food that we eat, the plants that we eat, even general landscaping that happens at a lot of people's homes is full of herbicide and pesticide. Does anybody in here play golf? Has anybody walked on a golf course before? Probably one of the most toxic places you could be is a golf course. How do they keep that grass so green? How come there's no weeds anywhere? If you ever even stuck your foot into the pond to get a golf ball, it's a very toxic place to be. And so we're getting exposed everywhere. I get asked this question a lot. We do different tests that show us your toxicity level in your body. One of the ones we do is very valuable is heavy metal testing. So we can see what load of mercury do you have? Do you have arsenic in your body? All these different endocrine disruptors, DNA disruptors, inflammatory agents. And I have specific answers depending on the metals that you test it for. But this slide really does a good job. It shows you that we're getting hit from everywhere. So preservatives and additives in our foods and our beverages are toxic at some level. Certain household cleaning products, cigarette smoke, dyes and paints. If you remember, it wasn't that long ago they had to outlaw lead in paint. And a lot of households still have lead, in their house, and they don't even realize that. Of course, leading in pipes and so forth. Personal care products. This is a big deal. There's a guy named Horace. He created Aveda. He actually died of cancer, but before, when he got diagnosed, he decided he wanted to give back to the hair and cosmetic industry, and he created a product line called Intelligent Nutrients that was completely free and clean of toxic elements. And what he was trying to teach the industries is he said, if basically you put it on your skin, you got to be able to put it in your mouth. And so anything that you put on your skin is going to go through the liver. And so you're going to absorb that. And so a lot of dyes, I know a lot of ladies use dyes in their hair, coloring in their hair. We got cosmetics, it's a different thing in the lipstick and the blushes. We got all the perfumes. You're absorbing that through your skin. And it has a toxic potential in it. Some of it, you don't even know it, but it has hormones in it, like progesterone, to make your skin nice and supple and wrinkle-free, but that puts another load on your liver. And so you're starting to see wow, we are so overburdened with these toxins, and toxins truly are everywhere in the water and also in the air that we breathe. And those are called, and you're going to hear these terms a couple times, and I'll actually ask you questions to see if you're listening so you can get a hold of this, because this is about your health. But you have what's called exogenous toxins. And so that's toxins that you're getting exposed to environmentally or outside of your body. And so that's all the big bubbles that you see on the outside of the body. And then you have what's called endogenous toxins. And so that's the toxins that are created from basic physiology and metabolic waste that you have to detox out of your body, like ammonia, free radicals, and carbon dioxide. Did anybody know that Interstate 10 is known as the Cancer Corridor? Raise your hand. So do you think that maybe you need to detox? Possibly. Yeah, we have one of the highest cancer rates in the United States. And last time I actually had some dirt on several plants in the area, but decided I didn't want to do that this time. The plants are brilliant. We wouldn't have the economy we have here if we didn't have all the great jobs that the plants offer. However, we still have to be honest and understand, if you've chosen to live in Lake Charles, if you've chosen to live on this I-10 corridor, you need to be responsible and understand, what do I have to do to mitigate the exposure that I'm getting exposed with? And what is so interesting, and I don't think people realize this, yeah, it alarms us a bit when we realize, oh, this plant dumped this, or they had this like emergency release, and so we're getting a heavier exposure. But did you know that that legally they're allowed to dump? Legally they're allowed to burn things in the air, and they're supposed to stay on a certain level. And unfortunately, some of these plants in this I-10 corridor, it's cheaper for them just to pay the fines than it is to get better equipment and keep this reduction down. The point is, it's not to badmouth the plants, but it's to educate everybody in this room. If we're going to live somewhere where we have a higher rate of exposure, we should be responsible and we should mitigate that. And that's why it's so important to live a healthy, nutritious lifestyle so that we can have a healthier body and handle this and understand why detoxification is important. So toxins can contribute to a lot of different things. And it's so interesting. I've seen some amazing things doing different types of detoxes, but you'll bring somebody through a full body detox like this SP Balance program does, or maybe it's even a specific chelation after heavy metals. And it's so interesting. You go after mercury, and then you'll see like 10 of this person's chronic symptoms just go away. And it was all because of the toxicity in their body. So these can be really major disruptors to your health. But we have things like food cravings and weight gain can be from toxins. Reduced mental clarity is really a big one. Fogginess and memory problems. Memory problems can be a really big deal with toxins. And probably the number one thing I've seen is any type of nervousness or anxiety can have a high association to heavy metal toxicity. And then, of course, energy issues, difficulty sleeping, and that's because of the hormone disruption. A lot of people have insomnia because they have cortisol issues. They're getting cortisol pops too late in the evening, and so they have a hard time going to sleep. And we can go down a rabbit hole in that. But joint discomfort, so inflammation can be from these toxins, skin issues, indigestion, GI, and low libido, and that goes back to the hormone disruption. All right, so this is the detoxification process in a nutshell. Broken down simple, then we get a little bit deeper into it. But basically the body has to identify. So when something comes through the liver, it has to identify that as a toxin. And then it has to target it. And so that means it has to decide like, hey, what do I have to do to get this toxin out of my body? And then we got to remove it. So that's the simple concept of detox. Identify, target, remove. And so here's that word again. How do we get exposed to toxins? We have endogenous toxins. Does anybody know what that is yet? Is it inside or outside the body? Inside. Very good. Yeah, so carbon dioxide, ammonia-free radicals, main things created by metabolic waste and normal physiology. And then we have exogenous toxins are, there we go. It's up there for you too if you read the parentheses. I'm just teasing. It's kind of small. But that's going to be the things in the air and the water, cigarette smoke, dyes and paints. We all know about secondhand smoke. And then this is a big one here, at-home products. So this is something that you can actually do. And I've come up with a term with my patients over the years, and I call it the transition. All caps, the transition. And so what the transition is basically taking responsibility for your health and starting to have a plan where you start to buy cleaner foods. You start to get rid of all these nasty toxins and household cleaners. You start to look at your makeup and your cosmetics. You start to look at the type of herbicides that you use around your house because you're tracking through that. Like if you have a dog and you're using Roundup to get weeds, so you don't have to weed eat, which is most people do, or you're spraying it in the ditches and the animals are going through that, and then they come trotting into your house, it's on their feet. And so you get all this stuff tracked back into your house. And you'd be surprised how you get exposed to it. But you can really go nowadays, because you have so many really good options, you can really look at your cleaning products and try to detox that or make them less toxic, buying more natural things. Insecticides, pesticides, personal care products is a big thing. I completely understand, and we've tried to live a life for many years where we were almost like radical, or maybe we were radical about everything being perfect with our food, everything being perfect, with our cleaners. And what we learned is, hey, we don't have to be perfect with it, but we do have to practice some type of detoxification. So you may decide, hey, I want to keep coloring my hair, or hey, I want to keep using this perfume. Well, you need to understand that you are getting exposed, and so you just need to have some type of a practice where you mitigate that, and that would be through practicing detoxification. And if you have health problems, you might want to take that a little bit further because your body's not handling that toxic load. And this is a big thing, is toxins in our food. We don't think about how many toxins are in our food, but that's the whole organic versus conventional, even understanding the difference between like a grass-fed meat or a wild-caught fish. Does anybody eat fish in here? Yeah, so you need to consider that. It's wise to see, okay, what fish are more the heavier metal fish? What fish tend to have a affinity for these heavy metals? Example, one of the most common ones is tuna. Tuna has a great affinity for mercury. And so if you're going to eat tuna, you want to make sure you're getting that from a source, from a deep cold water source, which is away from land. And so the fish and the food that they eat are a lot cleaner. So these are things to consider as you go through the transition or the detoxification process of your lifestyle. And the science of detox is bioactivation. And we'll get into this a little bit more, but that's what's called phase 1. And so you basically have 3 phases of detox: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So when it first comes into the liver identifies it, and it turns it into something called an intermediate. And so there's a 2-step process to get it out, 3-step process to get out of the body. But when it takes that toxin and it turns it into an intermediate, that intermediate is actually more toxic than the toxin. And that's a big deal, because phase 2, which is where that intermediate gets turned into a water-soluble molecule, so it can be excreted in the urine, or it can be excreted via bile out of the bowels. Most people, their diet does not have enough of the nutrients to make phase 2 happen. And so if you're failing at phase 2, you can actually make yourself sicker, because that toxin is actually more toxic than it started. And that is part of the program in this detox balance, is it gives you all the nutrition, all the vitamins, all the amino acids, all the minerals you need to take care of that process and get the toxic levels down in your body. So that's bioactivation, and converts the toxin into a reactive intermediate substance. And so reactive means it's actually more dangerous. And then we create some free radicals, which are unstable, and those cause inflammation and cell damage. And then we get into phase 2, which is conjugation. And that's where we take that reactive substance produced from bio-1 activation, which has a lot to do with enzymes, the cytochrome P450 system. And now we turn it to a non-toxic, water-soluble molecule. And then now we got to get it out of the body through elimination. And that's going to be through the bowels, or through the urinary system. The bile happens through the bowels there, and then we'd have to get it out. And so you can kind of see now where even in phase 3, we can have an issue there. So a lot of people do not eliminate every day. And so what do you think's happening if you have a bowel movement once a week? So what happens if that just stays in the colon for 6 days? You start to retox. And so your body has to work all over again. And so all these particular phases are very important to make sure that you don't build up in toxicity. And a lot of the patients I've seen that have come to me after they had colon cancer, if you do a history on them, a lot of them had like decades-long constipation issues. Was a major player in a lot of colon cancer. They just were never told, hey, you need to be eliminating every day. But nobody ever taught them how to do that besides taking, you can come in, Miralax or some type of a laxative product. Nobody asked, what's the really root cause? Why are you constipated? And so that's something important to find out. Y'all doing okay so far? Very good. All right. So you want to prepare for your journey. So, yeah, it's important to make sure that you have the right nutritional support. The way that they've built the program today, it has all the nutrients in there. So you actually have a successful detoxification. But we do talk with our patients and see, if they do need some extra nutritional support. Usually a good food-based multivitamin will do the trick for that. And then something to consider on this particular detox program, and even if you don't do the detox program, this one thing would be worth coming here tonight because it's a way to detox, and it's called the elimination diet. And so there is a real interesting way that our immune system actually works with every piece of food and substance we put in our body. It actually scans it and checks it out to see if it's toxic. And a lot of people have what's called food allergies today. So that's the whole concept, the reason why you see gluten-free stuff everywhere, dairy-free stuff, soy-free stuff. Those happen to be in the top 10 more common food sensitivities. And so when you have a food sensitivity and you don't realize that, you're activating your immune system every time that you eat that particular food, and it creates inflammation, all kinds of crazy symptoms, and it can eventually cause gut dysbiosis and leaky gut syndrome, which can lead to autoimmune disease. But this is a form of detoxification, is by eliminating these particular foods here: dairy, peanuts, eggs, soy, and gluten. I've seen so many people see their inflammation drop, energy come up, and actually start to lose some pounds when they get away from the burden of the inflammation that these particular products cause. And so what you would do in an elimination diet is you would make sure you're dairy-free, no peanuts, no eggs, no soy, no gluten, which is wheat products, and you would do that for 4 weeks. And then after the 4-week mark, you would pick one day. So let's say you start on a Monday, and that particular day you would add dairy back into your diet. And then you would see, did I get tired when I ate the dairy? Did my knee hurt more? Did I get a headache? Did I have anxiety? Did I have a panic attack? Did I feel more frustrated? Different things like that. I had GI issues. Did I get constipated? Did I have diarrhea? And then after 3 days, once your body recovers from that, if you had an issue, then you would add the peanuts back. And then you would continue that until you went through all of those. But if you notice any symptoms from that in that 3-day period of time, then you have a sensitivity to that particular food. And then so let's say you notice you had an issue with dairy. Well, now dairy goes on a full 3-month elimination. So you get it out of your body for 3 months, let the immune system reset, and then you would add that back in after 3 months. And if you see another reaction, then you probably have a permanent dairy sensitivity, and your body's not going to do that well with dairy in your diet. And so you can either decide, hey, no dairy for me, or I'm going to do very small amounts of dairy because I know it messes with my body, and so I don't want to create that inflammation. So that can be a part of this program with the diet that you choose to do on the program. But diet requirements, some people, if you have some very particular needs like diabetes or other different issues, then we would help modify the diet requirements. And if you do coffee or alcohol, most people do coffee. I do not take people off of their coffee for the detox program. The coffee actually does help the bile move better which does improve elimination. Has lots of antioxidants in it, but what we do is if you're doing coffee, we just ask you, hey, if you overdo coffee right now, let's cut it back to like 2 cups a day. So you don't get a headache, you don't get a withdrawal, and this clean your coffee up. So if you're dumping sugar in the coffee, no sugar in the coffee. You might want to even pull the dairy out and use a non-dairy creamer, maybe use like coconut milk or something of that nature. But I still allow the coffee, but you can choose to come off of it. But if you've been doing coffee a lot before you start the program, you're going to want to wean down. Or maybe use another caffeine that's not so strong. Use something like green tea so you don't have the withdrawal issues. And then the same thing with the alcohol. And then we have what's called the 28-day, which is the full program, or we have a starter program, which is the 10-day program. So the couple of things on that. The best way to really understand which one you should be doing is to fill out your toxicity questionnaire, which should be in the handouts. It looks like this. And this is really good too, worth coming here tonight just for this, to see how many symptoms you have. How many symptoms do you have that are telling you that you're actually toxic? So at least you know, or you're motivated, I need to do something to improve my health. Now, I made this real simple. If you score really high on this toxicity program, you should be doing the 28-day. But if it's not too bad, then all you probably need is a little 10-day reboot. So consider that if you're deciding to do the detox program, and understand that. And then my second thought is this. So I've been doing this for 20 years. I mentioned that. The big thing when anybody comes in as a patient is you got to meet them where they're at. And so asking somebody to do a detox program for 28 days, depending on where they're coming from, can be way too much. And so they're not even going to finish it. And so if this is all new to you, if you know maybe even like you don't have like really good compliance with programs, then I wouldn't spend the money on the 28-day program. I would just do the 10-day program. Do it for 10 days, small commitment. You can do that. And then when you get to the end of 10 days, if you're like, you know what, I'm feeling good, I want to keep going, then get some more product and you can keep going. And so that's a good way to decide if you are deciding to do the program, how to decide which one fits you best. So get to know your Detox Balance program. I like the new Detox Balance, and so there's another program which a lot of put certain patients on that specific program. It's called the 21-day, and that is another program you can do, but it's all separated. And so the powder is the protein with the plant foods in there. Then it has the cleansing product, and then it has the second phase cleansing product. So you're taking a lot of capsules. It's not a big deal for some people. Other people it is. But with the Detox Balance, everything you need is in the shake. And so you're not having to take fiber supplements. You're not having to take 4 bottles of supplements. All you got to do is make the shake and then decide how you want to eat. And so it makes it real easy. It's safe because it's supported properly so that you don't retox. It doesn't create rapid removal of the toxins, and so you don't have to worry about the headaches and the Herxheimer reactions. Most people I've found on the detox programs, they're getting headaches, they're not drinking enough water, or they're more than likely getting some type of a withdrawal from something that they stopped. And I know I mentioned coffee and alcohol, but there could be other things that you do all the time that you might stop, and so you go through a withdrawal. But it's all been clinically formulated, and then it's very healthy with all the organic foods in there, super loaded with nutrients. The soil at the Tarrant Process Farm is just amazing to see. So this is what it looks like. Raise your hand if you've done the program before. Thank you. I have a couple people. So that's what it looks like. You get the big jar, the Detox Balance. You're trying to shoot for 1 to 3 shakes a day. And it has all the protein, all the nutrients in there, and they have no flavor, but it still has a little bit of stevia or monk fruit, I believe, but monk fruit. So it has a sweet taste, or there's chai, and a lot of people like the chai, and it kind of I think it tastes great, but it can cover up, that vegetable taste if you're not used to eating vegetables. Does anybody in here eat vegetables? You eat vegetables? Or you're carnivore? Yeah, it's teasing. This guy's done amazing, by the way. Yeah, he's been coming in for a while. Definitely went through the transition and transformation.
I have this, I was going to say, if I have it at home, is it okay? Because I haven't done this, but I did get this from you. I didn't feel like I saw good results, but there was a lot of things going on at that time.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot to it. Depends how long you did it. Depends on the diet that you were on when you did it. And that's usually all it is. And a lot of times, it's really hard. Even when a patient comes here to start the program, depends what they're focused on. Because a lot of patients will be focused on this one thing. And it can be interesting. You read the forms and it's like 90% of their symptoms are gone. And you're like amazed clinically, like, wow, this person's doing really good. But that one symptom is not as good as they wanted. They're like, well, I thought I was going to lose 30 pounds and I only lost 15. And so they're frustrated. But yeah, when you're going through the detox program, though, depending on how long you did it, how consistent you are on it, and what's going on in your body can determine, how fast you progress and how much success that you have. But we see some amazing things with the program. And there's some things we can talk about. Does anybody do CrossFit 6 days a week? Any Ironman people in here? Iron women? So I'm joking, but those patients would need more protein, so I'd have to adjust that for the program if they're going to continue that type of workout load. But we talk about that. Okay, so this is a lot of reiteration, but I want y'all to understand this because this is your body. Most of us understand our cars better than we understand our own body. This is critical to have a healthy body. But phase 1 unlocks it, and so the program has the nutrients to help that happen. Then we go through phase 2, which is neutralizing. So question, is the toxin coming in the liver in phase 1, is it the most toxic substance, or is the intermediate in phase 2 the most toxic substance? Exactly, the intermediate. And this is where most people actually get in a lot of trouble, is they don't have the nutrition to go through phase 2. And their body gets very toxic. And then, of course, we have to eliminate properly. Proper bowel health, proper fiber, enough fiber, and water is super key for phase 3 elimination. Basically, we're getting it out of the body. So this is just some of the different things that they have used, or they used to make the detox balance. We're getting protein from yellow pea protein, which is an excellent protein. We're getting flax meal, which is soluble and insoluble fiber. So those are both very important. The insoluble fiber is more of the scrubber. So it's kind of like psyllium. Just goes through and it scrubs the walls of the mucosal membranes in the GI tract. And then we have the soluble, which is more kind of gelatinous. I don't know if anybody's ever messed with flax seeds before. You're soaked them or you've done the fiber. It gets kind of jelly a little bit. And so that helps to coat and slick up the GI wall so things move through there easier. Then we have antioxidants and nutrients from sweet potato. Oats actually are a good source of fiber. I'm not a big oatmeal fan. They actually process that a bit, so you're not getting the carbohydrate from the oats. But the particular species of oats they're using here have lots of flavonoids in there, and they're a good source of something called beta-glucan, which actually helps to boost your immune system. Pretty neat. Then we got minerals and protein from pumpkin seed, buckwheat, carrot. Spanish black radish is amazing for supporting detoxification in the liver, and it is really good at getting rid of candida. And so this program does help to knock down your candida load, which is pretty cool. So get a little bit of everything and some more fiber from the apple pectin. And this is a vegan detoxification program as far as the actual powder. And then you would have to support that with the right diet, but the detox balance is vegan. All right, guided program supports phase 2, so detox enzymes and antioxidant balance. So that's where they get a lot of their antioxidants is from the buckwheat, the beets, and the Spanish black radish. So that is one thing that also happens in phase 1 is you create the free radicals. Free radicals are very unstable, and so they're looking to borrow something from another tissue, so they create lots of inflammation. So you need the antioxidants to make this thing happen successfully. This is really cool here. So this is some of their latest research. 37 people randomized whole food-based nutritional supplements as a part of the 28-day metabolic detoxification. And of course, they had their diet recommendations, or they had healthy education session with just a detox program. So after 4 weeks, this is what they found. And they used a lot of different tests, blood tests, anthropomorphic metric data, so that's body fat, body mass, things like that, urine profiles, oxidative stress markers, and then they looked at their enzymes. And this is what happened after 28 days on the detox program. 40% increase in plasma antioxidant activity. So that's pretty tremendous. Your antioxidant levels went up by 40%. So that's going to be major anti-aging. That's like anti-arthritis. That's anti-neuroinflammation, anti-skin inflammation, anti-gut inflammation. 13 to 23% with antioxidant enzyme activity. And so your detoxification ability after the 28 days was actually up 13 to 23%. So you were actually able to detox metabolic waste and exogenous toxins after just 28 days, and then decrease oxidative stress in the immune cells. And they have another piece of research. It shows that your immune system is stronger 28 days later after this particular program. And it has to do with antioxidants and all the plant nutrition in it. And then people just reported through questionnaire that their emotional health was better, the physical health was better. Adrian, what are some just quick things you've noticed after a detox program?
One thing I always notice every year is my skin looks better.
Skin looks better. Get some compliments on that. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so we mentioned this. So we got the 10-day convenience program. Does anybody remember the 2 points I mentioned that would maybe say it would be good for you to do the 10-day?
Low scoring.
Low scoring, correct. And what was the other one? Non-compliance. She's actually very compliant, though. She's a very compliant patient. That's good, though. Yeah, it makes sense, though. I don't want anybody to waste their money. I've actually talked some of my patients out of doing the detox program. They wanted to do it. And I was like, I don't think you should, because I don't think you're going to be compliant. And they agreed with me on that, but we did it at a later date. Just didn't think it was a good idea for them. Then we have the 28-day comprehensive program. So if you score really high, you definitely should be doing the 28-day program, and you will get even better results. The study showed all those increases, and that was after 28 days versus the 10-day program. But the 10-day program is a great program. Yeah, and so they really thought about everything on this program, but the particular menu that comes in your Detox Balance book, the diet that they created was very well thought out to help improve or decrease inflammation, improve pH balance. And so that's what they're talking about here. In this particular program, they were really trying to create a more alkaline diet so you could reduce that burden of acidity or acidic foods, which have a lot to do with creating more metabolic waste. And so the diet is designed to create less metabolic waste so that you don't have that burden to detox. So decrease the metabolic waste from a well thought out diet, whole food diet, more alkaline pH balanced diet, and increase your ability to detoxify by having the right nutrition that the body and the liver needs to eliminate metabolic waste. I'm not going to go into this one, but This is basically a chart that we can use to make sure you're getting the right protein requirements. If you need more protein, depending on how much you work out, you're definitely going to be 3 shakes a day, not 1 shake a day. And then we might want to make sure that you get 3 servings of protein a day on top of that. But most people will be fine with their protein requirements. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
So going back to that, like, let's say, I mean, does one need 55 to 88 grams of protein in a day?
How much?
Does it say 55 to 88 grams?
Yes, some people do. You know, it depends where they're at. I would say in general, people, depending if they're lifting weights or if they're doing like steady state cardio or whatever it might be, somewhere around like 50 to 60 grams of protein is going to be adequate for most people. Even in weight loss programs, you got to watch how much protein that you take in because it can get converted into sugar. Yeah, and so I tend not to worry about the protein thing with most patients. Yeah, I'm not going to look at that unless like a person has some major health needs. Or maybe they're a high-performance athlete or a high-performance trainer. Then we'll talk about more protein possibly. All right, water is important. You would detox better if most people drank more water. A lot of people don't drink a lot of water. I tell this story a lot. This was back when I was across the street. We got a patient. She had been under pain management for quite some time. The medicines they were using weren't working anymore. She was hurting pretty bad. And so she came to our office because she was desperate, didn't have any other options out there. I sent her home with a food record, started with some real basic supplements. She brought the food record back in a week. And I looked at her food record. She did not drink any water. The only thing she put in her body was coffee and soda pop. And so weaned her off the coffee, got her off of the soda pop, increased to 8 glasses of water a day, and her pain in a couple weeks was cut down by 50% just by drinking water and staying more hydrated, but drinking water so that her body could actually detox metabolic waste. And so water is super important. 10 glasses a day, 10 8-ounce glasses a day is what you're looking for, but you don't have to have that much. You could have 4 16-ounce bottles a day and do pretty good. But you definitely want to make sure you do drink water on the program and drink water in life in general. The cleaner, the better. And then exercise. Everybody, has to step into this at some level. Some people are already doing this. 10,000 steps can be quite a lot for a lot of people. But the big idea is if you could at least, depending on your activity level, at least go walking on this program for 20 minutes a day. That would be minimum. And you might not be able to do that, but maybe if you did that 3 times a week. But you don't want to be sedentary because just the action of moving around, you're contracting muscles, you're moving lymph, you're moving venous blood, and so movement is a part of normal detoxification. Just moving around increases what? Circulation. And so you got to move this stuff out. That was phase 3, elimination. So welcome to the new you. That's all I got to say about the detox program. We're going to answer some questions in a little bit, but this is a super cool testimony right here. She still comes in here today, still looks really good, but this is Miss Diane. We actually put her testimonial in our book. It was so phenomenal. But basically she came in, she had been doing all kinds of medications, multiple diagnoses. She had pre-diabetic, thyroid problems, hormone problems, had some gut diagnosis as well, extremely overweight. And she basically had no energy. She was taking several naps a day, headaches, inflamed, her body hurt. And so she came in and we brought her through the program. She did the detoxification program. And that is her, I'd say somewhere around about 6-month mark or so. She started to look like that. In total game changer, she got off all her medications. She's on 0 meds. Feels great, has energy. She's doing really good. She was so inspired with natural health, she decided to retire and become a licensed massage therapist. So, pretty cool. Radical change there. This is her little testimony. Wellness is a lifestyle plan to continue forever. Thank you, Dr. Seth, for your holistic approach to healing, restore my body, myself, and my life. And I think it's so cool. That's definitely not about me. That's about like how amazing our body is. And God made our body to be amazing, but we need to learn how to steward our body. And I like this scripture. It says the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Whether you're Christian or not Christian, I think that's a very profound statement for somebody to make. It's basically saying your body is housing life. It's the house of God, of the Holy Spirit. And what I have seen in my life at this point in time is I believe the key to anybody's breakthrough is actually stewardship. And so it's stewardship of your body and it's stewardship of your mind. And when you can improve the stewardship of your mind and your body, you can see amazing transformation. And that's what we're about here, is helping people learn how to steward their bodies so they can live their best life. Okay, that's a wrap. So we got some, I'll answer a few questions and then we're going to get into